Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. I'll introduce the panel members. First, Laurie Davidson to my left, Jeff Pichet to my far left. Doug Stratton is our assessor today. Huda Aziz will be our administrative assistant, and I'm Marcel Larondo. I'll be chairing. We'll be hearing applications for revision of assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we'll limit discussions to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matter must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessment of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed of each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after the applications have been heard. And the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are recorded and will be part of the public record. And please have your cell phones on silent, please. And the first one's not here, right? Doing the second one? Mr. Crichton, you're up. Swear them in, please. Start on file number 12, okay?
So to swear in, please state your full name. And you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you. Would you like to swear in or affirm? Please state your full name.
Matthew David Alexander Creighton.
And do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And I can pass out your evidence sheet.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Strachan, you may begin.
Good afternoon. Roll number 120419050000916 Wellington Crescent. The property is a two-story, single-family property. Original age, year built 1929, so just under 100 years old. Effective age 1969. The house isn't, the reason we applied for the effective age, the house it's no longer at the 1929. Same condition, quality, there has been changes over the years. Approximately 3,200 square foot property, some basement development, 4 washrooms, air conditioning, fireplaces, in-ground pool. Lot size approximately 9,000. It's on the south side of Wellington Crescent, corner of, I believe it's Waverly and, Waverly and Wellington Crescent. All the sales I supplied are in the Wellington Crescent neighborhood, all two-story, except comparable number 4 is a 2.5-story property. Original age, very close, 1924 up to 1930, with effective ages applied for renovations that have occurred. square footage, 2,500 up to 3,200 square feet. So the subject property fits into the range of square footage. Tried to narrow it down as close as possible. All the properties have basement improvements. Washroom count varies. See all the features there. A couple of the properties do have in-ground pools. 3 out of 4 of the sales comparisons are on pretty close on Waterloo, plus 1 property on Waverly, just kitty corner to the subject property. Sale prices, they range from $864,000 to just over $1 million. With the reference date April 1st, 2018, you'll note that all the sales occurred prior to the reference date. We did apply the time adjusted sale prices there on the third line. Not huge difference, just minor increases. We have it assessed at $941,000. Again, as a reference date April 1st, 2018. The sales is applied, I feel, support the assessment. So I request that $941,000 be maintained.
Questions, Mr. Keaton?
No questions.
Questions, Jeff?
Have you been to subject property?
No, I haven't.
So you wouldn't have any commentary then on the general condition of the property? Other than what you've stated, and
Right.
the effective date is
Correct.
69?
The information, there's actually a coworker who was doing the sales verification on the property. They took a look at the multiple listing. Graded, the age, we never made a change to the year built effective age. We still had it as 1929. So the coworker upgraded the records in conjunction with the multiple listing, the features, the appearance of the upgrades. By the looks of the listing, did I ask?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so it just shows that there has been some upgrades over the years. It's no longer 1929. So that's where the assessor applied the 1969 effective age or age grading.
So all of these photos have come off of the multiple listing?
Correct.
And do we know the date of the photos?
The listing date, I believe, was early 2019.
Yeah.
March 2019 was the posting date.
Okay, thank you. No other questions?
Roy?
Can you just confirm if the sale in 2019 was on time?
We shouldn't be looking at that anyway. It's posted, is it not? Shouldn't it be April 1st?
Right, actually, that was
Oh.
not supposed to be there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
it shouldn't be there.
That should have been all white out there. I apologize for that.
withdraw the question. Thank you.
I was gonna bring it up. I should have brought it up right at
Yeah.
the beginning. Sorry.
No, I'll admit an error. If you prefer. But as far as I know, it was a multiple listing. I'm under the assumption the transaction that did occur was a bona fide online sale.
Okay, thank you. I have to remind myself of the reference date.
I don't see any of your comparables being external corners, correct?
Correct.
I don't see any of your comparables on actually Wellington. They're all on the cross streets with less traffic, correct?
Correct. That's why we've applied you'll see the land influence on the subject property records. External corner and light traffic, sometimes definition of light traffic is minimal, but at this point we have light medium.
Your best comparable is probably number 4, is that correct?
Yes, it would be.
It's got probably 2,000 square feet or more land, correct?
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
And it's not an external lot?
Correct.
not a high traffic area at all. Yet that one's at $298, and you're bringing this one at just $2 under that square foot.
Yes. You'll see, there has been some sales of Wellington Crescent properties, except on the north side, those are automatically discarded. The amount of erosion going on that side of Wellington, there's been some issues, so, but I could have supplied sales, but it's not fair, in my opinion, to compare a riverside property compared to the subject property.
Okay, we'll see what the town has. Mr. Creedon, if you make the presentation.
All right, so thank you for having me, appreciate you guys, and you probably have a lot of stuff to do, so I appreciate you being with me. Love Winnipeg, I just moved back from Henley, so I was out in Henley for the last 5 years, and then finally kind of a dream house came up there in River Heights, where I grew up. So my wife and I and young child just moved back to Winnipeg, and when we found this house, we viewed it a few times and eventually fell in love with it and ended up purchasing it. I have no problem at all paying taxes, I love Winnipeg. My argument would be the increase from the previous assessed value to my new $941,000. I believe the increase is almost 38% increase from the previous owners, which I consider a fairly large increase. Nothing's been done in the last 10 years to the home besides interior painting. The kitchen and bathrooms were done in 2010. There was some small foundation repair done prior to that. The roof is about 30 years old. So the only major things done were the kitchen and bathroom since 2010, so not much has changed. So my argument would be, why is the assessed value now changed with my sale up almost 40% versus the last 10 years of it not really changing too much with the previous owners? I do have, as presented there from your website, just a aerial map view of the assessed values around with mine indicating $941,000. That's my new assessment. So you can see there are some variances in different home values and different lot sizes, and I can appreciate that the assessor is going to use previous sales, I think from 2018 is what it looks like, for comparables. That makes sense to me. But I would add to that, my neighbor actually just sold at 920 Wellington. I have it printed out there. The assessed value on that home is $649,000. It's the same year, built in 1929, actually the same architect. About 250 square feet less. Lot size is almost 3,000 square feet bigger. I would argue that we definitely have more updates to that house, but they actually just sold for around $580,000. So quite a big difference, actually, under assessed value for that home. So again, I have no problem an increase. It makes sense to have an increase, especially at the time of purchase. Just as to why a 38% increase would happen right now and not over the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years, 6 years of assessments, as they're not caught up to itself, if that makes sense.
That was almost a question you could have asked him. Would you like to answer that question that he just posed?
Please.
Mhm.
No, I understand what you're saying. You mentioned the neighboring property.
Yeah, 920 Wellington Crescent was my neighbor.
Has it undergone upgrades?
I would say definitely not what we have. Obviously, the price reflects that at $580,000 sale price. But it's a well-kept home. Same architect. The actual main floors are all, they're not wood floors, they're actual poured concrete. So the house hasn't moved, as that's why ours is in such good shape. And it's the same architect, and my understanding is the exact same poured. So the house is in very good shape. It's definitely needs some updates. But I wouldn't argue $500,000 worth of updates. We paid just over $1 million for our home, and we paid that not willingly. We did it because we loved the home, so we might have paid a little bit more than we probably should have. There are some issues with the house. For instance, the basement actually has a full basement. We're actually only a part basement. We're a half basement. Half the basement is just an open area. On top of that, the poured concrete in the basement that was redone, I believe, in the 90s, based on my realtor having sold the house back in 2003 for the $350,000 mark. He had the pictures and assessment of the new poured concrete basement floor. That is all shifted due to the rivers underneath the River Heights area. So we're going to have to re-pour the concrete basement floor again. And we're just having actually the city come out and do an assessment because it's our belief and confirmed by the city that we have lead pipes coming into the home. So we're gonna have to pull up all those lead pipes and replace those lead pipes coming into the home so that our water is able to be potable and drinkable. So there are some things structurally that we have to do that aren't normal maintenance. The roof has to be done, I believe that's normal maintenance, stuff like that, expensive roof, things like that we're willing to take care of, but there are some issues and stuff with the property that doesn't make it, I don't think, at that value of assessment, again, 38% increase based on, a year and a half of those assessment.
Did the agent make you aware that there was lead pipes in the property?
No, it didn't make us aware. I would assume that a majority of the homes in that area probably has it. I was actually only made aware when my plumber was adding some filters to the home, and he went and took a look at the pipe coming into the house, the city side, and confirmed it was lead, so I contacted the city. I understand they're doing testing right now for that type of stuff. There's a program that just got completed, so I'm on the next docket, so to speak, to come out this spring and have them test. They confirmed that it was lead coming into the house. As to how extreme the content is for lead, right now what we're doing is we're just running the water in the mornings prior to showering or brushing teeth, things like that, so. My plumber's best estimate, he said, is probably $15,000 to $20,000 based on the length of lot and coming into the house and having to pull up stone and stuff within our area where the actual intake coming to the house is.
Have you done any upgrades since you purchased the property?
Minor upgrades, nothing. We're looking right now with a builder to start taking care of things like that. Some of the windows need to be done. Obviously the roof, our estimate for the roof is $70,000 because it's a cedar shake roof to replace with similar. There's some issues with venting, some electrical stuff we're having taken care of, but nothing major yet. We're working with a builder right now to get that stuff taken care of.
I have no other questions.
Jeff?
You mentioned a sale, 920 Wellington Crescent. Do you have any information on that
I
sale?
wasn't able to get an
It
actual.
would be a post sale anyway.
Is the
Yeah.
post reference?
It sold probably a month ago. I wasn't
Okay.
able to get the physical copy because they just for.
I'm
but
sorry,
they-
I thought it was a 2018.
No.
Okay. And just a point of clarification,
Yes.
you talked about a part basement.
Yeah. So
Part finished?
part
or
finished, part finished basement. Yeah.
Part finished. So
So
what
half is
percentage?
finished, half is not. I just saw, looking at these ones, these all say full part areas. Mine says full basement, whereas only 50% of it, the square footage is actually finished.
Okay. And do you have any estimates that you can provide us on the work that is to be done?
Still working on it. Again, my plumber estimated between $15,000 and $20,000 for the piping. I have an estimate for the roof of $70,000, but I know that's normal general wear and tear. We have not got a full estimate for the concrete floor in the basement because we're working with upgrading some heating systems and electrical, so that's all coming in hopefully the next month. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it for this hearing.
Okay. All right. Other questions?
Just a quick question. In
Yes.
terms of the work that you mentioned and that's structural, like the lead pipes, I know the cedar shingles aren't structural, but
Yes.
nevertheless, what is the timing, do you think, in terms of having to make these repairs for, the structural soundness of your home?
We're gonna do it this year based on the fact that, well, lead pipes and stuff, we have a newborn, 3-month-old moving in there, so right now we're not using the water other than showering. Again, we've got a filtration system in there, but we're having to kind of vet that water through for a few minutes to get rid of that. So that stuff's gonna be done this year, and we're hoping that depends on, I guess, our builder getting authorization or actual being able to get everything done. But hopefully this year everything will be done, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Just so we have some clarification, on the basement finish, you don't have it marked down how much of it was finished, do you?
No, I don't. I was gonna explain that. Comparable number one, for example, it says full part area. Full property with a full basement, that, say a bungalow, it's just, the basement is under
It's
the
full.
entire house.
Yeah.
Full part means that possibly at one point, somebody put on an addition,
Okay.
and it's a surface foundation, so we would label it as full basement
Part, yeah, makes
part.
sense.
So that's
Okay.
the terminology. I don't know, it wouldn't surprise me with your property, maybe there is a surface foundation addition maybe, or part
I
of
don't
the
think
structure?
so.
No?
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's all original.
Okay. And for the finished basement, yes, we don't have the, or in our system, it doesn't put the automatic square footage, which would be helpful.
I just wanted to understand.
About
the
40
ballpark.
to 50% is my guess for the basement finish.
Good. Anything in summation, Doug?
It's difficult for properties like this, especially in Wellington Crescent. It's a neighborhood that does attract a different market of purchasers. So it's difficult to narrow it down because a lot of homes in that area are different. So trying to find sales that are close, it's difficult, especially the neighborhood that's
Hundreds
it's a
of
very-
plus year old homes.
yeah, the age of the properties, it's difficult, but some of the sales have been pretty substantial. People are aware of the structural issues, but people are willing to pay the prices, so in some cases, there's been sales where the properties were sold, the house was knocked down within a month. Their land sales, basically land sales and the vacant land was going for pretty good money, so we just try and take the various features into consideration, what's going on. So that's why we feel the assessment $941,000 is an accurate number.
And in your summation, if you could let us know what you thought the number should be, that would be helpful too.
$5.
No, $5.
I'll be there tonight.
I was gonna write him the check for you.
As after I mentioned in my initial statement, I have no problem paying taxes. I love Winnipeg as a city. I have no problem with taxes, but fair taxes. So somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $800, $850, I'm fairly comfortable with. Again, I want to make sure it's fair for the citizens of Winnipeg and fair for myself and my family. So.
Just be aware, next time they can't chase the sale.
$5 there.
Okay, that'll conclude that matter. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank
Job
you.
well done.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna move on to the next property, which will be, I got rid of yours, right there. 257 Delmonica. Swear them in, please.
Would you like to swear in or affirm?
Sure.
Please state your full name,
Hanson.
and you swear the evidence you're representing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your full name, and you swear the evidence you're representing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Thank you. And the evidence you would like me to present?
Yes. 5 copies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here.
No, you're gonna go second though.
Oh, second, okay.
We're gonna let him go first,
Yeah,
I'll
you
go
go
first.
first.
and then you're gonna ask him some questions,
Okay.
Sure.
and then.
Sorry about that.
We're gonna ask a few.
Yeah.
So Doug, when you're ready, please.
Rule number 03-0929-08-0257 Delmonica Road, Bridgewater Trails neighborhood. The property was completed in 2018. The permit was dated December 2017. Declared construction value $305,000. The completion date was passed April 1st, 2018, so we had to resort to take a look at similar properties and try to narrow it down again, close as possible. The closest was the comparable number one also on the same street. Subject two-story, built in 2018, 2,300 square feet. Full basement, 3 washrooms, central air, attached garage, double attached garage, I believe. The lot size, approximately 10,000. It is a pie-shaped lot. All the comparables Bridgewater Trails as well, 2 stories. They're all older, couple years older, 2015, 2017. Much the same, full basement, none of the properties had basement finish when they sold. Very close to the same features, air conditioning, fireplaces, attached garages. Lot sizes for the comparables, approximately 4,500 to just under 7,100 square feet. There's commercial properties nearby. You'll see there's the land influences applicable to all the properties. With the subject property, there's I assume it's a green hydro telephone box beside your driveway. Walkways, comparables 3 and 4 walkways on commercial improvements. Some people find walkways a negative feature. Some vandalism noticed over the years when properties are beside walkways. The sales supplied 522,000 to just under 550,000. We have it assessed at 545,000, which fits into the range of sales that have occurred in the Bridgewater Trails neighborhood. One thing I have to take into consideration also was the lot size, a bit larger than the comparables. The map I supplied just shows the subject property as well as the comparables. It's in the same general neighborhood, but not too far away. It'd be better if you could narrow it down closer, but about the closest I could get for when I narrowed it down as much as possible. So we feel that 545,000 fits into the range of what it may have sold for April 1st, 2018. Thank you.
Do you have any questions of the assessor before you make the presentation?
No.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
You've seen the subject property?
I have none.
What value would you attribute to the additional lot size? It looks like the frontages are similar to your comps, but because it's a pie.
Yeah, generally it's based on a rate per square foot. In this case, I don't have all the stats, but it does make a difference, especially with the pie-shaped lot. It's one thing people look for is the large backyards, kids in the future for the future plans. It has been noticed that people do pay a fair amount for the land. You'll see in this case, the vacant lot sold for $126,000. Dollar-wise, I don't have a figure I could apply to it at this point.
It seems to me that there's quite a significant distinction between having a hydro box on your front yard and having commercial adjacent, and your comps, at least 2 of them, have commercial adjacent.
Yeah.
Now, so comps, you've said comp 1, in fact, may be your best comp. I'm looking at it in terms of some of the site influence or land influence, and I'm not so sure. Able to comment on that?
For the green boxes, it's not the greatest attractive feature, but at this point, through our sales analysis, it doesn't appear that there's that big of an influence, or it's not noticeable that if a property does have the boxes, it doesn't seem to be affecting sale prices. Probably not the best thing to do, but landscapers have been putting little bushes around them to hide them. It does look better when they're hidden, but through sales analysis, it doesn't appear that it's having much of an effect on the sale price, whereas commercial nearby commercial properties, that does seem to have a bigger influence. Somebody doesn't want to move across the street. I believe these are apartments. The commercial influences, especially when the lot sizes are lower for a comparable one, 4,400 square foot lot with a commercial property close. Those are a couple of features that are going to affect a person's opinion. But,
So just to confirm, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but when I look at the map you've provided, the commercial influence, in fact, is an apartment. So are you able to identify for me on comp 1 and 2 where those are?
Look on your map and you'll read the number that says comp 1.
Yes, but I can't see the commercial influence.
oh, I see, like what's across the street from
Yeah,
the property.
where is the commercial influence in this
It
case?
would, for comparable one,
Yeah.
it is directly across the street. It's, the zoning was, I believe it's, 4 apartment blocks or condos.
Okay.
That's why there's the larger lots, there is, condo or apartments going up in the area.
I see. And the same, it would be the situation with comp 2.
Yeah, same thing, directly across, it's the condo complexes or apartments.
I see. Okay, thank you. No other questions?
Lori?
I have a question on the subject in comp 1. Who is the builder in this case, since they're essentially right close together on the same street?
The subject-
2 years apart.
The subject property is Qualico. And the number 7, I don't have the plans handy for it, so I can't take a guess, I'm sorry.
Okay, because I was just looking at the subject property, so the sale you indicated was land at $126,000.
Correct.
So that would be like $12.27 per square foot.
Yep.
Does that number, could that carry through to say comp 1?
It wouldn't surprise me that even it could be without looking at the land sales on all the properties, I can't comment on that, but the economy of scale, I'm sure, or I can't confirm it works in that general way without seeing the stats on all the numbers that we've got to come up with rate per square foot.
And you indicate, thank you, you indicated that it hasn't been inspected.
Not by myself. The owners will have to confirm that. I'm not sure if it was a phone discussion.
Okay.
That I can't confirm, I'm sorry.
That's fine, thank you very much.
Is this a sub?
Yes. That's what all
Because-
the properties in today's hearing are all supplementaries.
Okay. 431 was the sale price in 2018. You're justifying not using that sale price because of it
Sorry.
being delivered in 2019?
What was the sale, or the,
431 according to your numbers, correct? You had said 305 was your permit build out,
yes, the cost was.
126 on the lot, we put you at 431.
I've learned over the years the cost approach to valuation would be, or is the old method, but
Had you investigated the actual sale?
no, I did not.
What's going on with the appellant? How do you, see what's going on? Give us your numbers.
So I can start.
Your turn.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. So, I moved to Canada like 12 years ago or 13 years ago. I live here, so that's the reason I settled down and purchased the property and want to be here forever, as long as I could. So the reason I want to appeal this assessment for this property is because I purchased this property on the year of 2018. The purchase price based on the contract, and you can find the reference copy like page 16 and 17. It's around 488,000. But for now, the assessment price I got from the assessor is 545,000. So with no renovation, no recent upgrade, I just wonder why brings up the factor into this assessment being over 10% higher than my purchase price. That's the first kind of concern I have. So I also did my kind of investigation based on the sales book 2018. So I listed out on the page number 2 with 9 properties, which is basically in my street and very close to me. The average price per square feet is actually $208. So compared to my assessment price per square feet, which is 233. So I want to know, why this is not so different to my neighbors. So as a page number 12, you can see there's 2 pictures of the unfinished basement. And number 13, I have 2 pictures of the backyard with no deck, no view, no backland, fence uncompleted, and irregular shape. So I know the assessor want to bring up the lot size to be a kind of factor. I agree with that, but the thing is, when I purchased my property, which the lot is almost the last lot on the street, so nobody wanted it, so I took it. On the page 14, you can see 2 pictures of the front yard. You can see the big green box and manhole cover in the driveway. So I think that's a definitely disadvantage if someone want to sell the house. And on the page 15, you can see the 2 pictures of the inside of the house. There's no renovation, no upgrade. And I see we all want to compare my property into the property on the 7 Del Monte Road. I can tell you which is a show home. They have lots of upgrades. I have been inside when I purchased my property. I can see they have marble countertop and glass stairs and lots of upgrades. I don't have that, so which is unfair to compare my property to this property. But anyway, I listed out as a factor of the average price I'm looking for. So, yeah. Also, their assessment is even based on the price of per square feet is even lower than my assessment. So, thank you. That's all I have. Yeah.
Questions? Doug?
On page 14, just so I can update the records, there's the picture at the bottom. Is the manhole cover in your driveway?
Yeah, in my driveway, yes.
Okay.
We just took the photo on March 1st.
Yeah, I can see the date there
Yeah.
with the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that the pie-shaped lot, your property is the last one on the market?
Yes, last one on the street.
I won't say the last one, but the last 2. Yeah, last 2.
Kind of leftover.
Right. So do you feel that the shape of the lot is a negative?
Like a coin, right? There's always 2 sides. Someone like it, someone dislike it. So, yeah, I think lot size it's a factor, and also the shape of the lot, it's another factor. So to my case, my kind of lot size is big, but the thing is, the shape is not good, it's kind of irregular. So, I don't think most people, will like it, to my personal opinion. So.
Okay, I have no other questions, thank you.
Lori, any questions?
I'm just looking at the comps that you provided on page 2.
Mhm.
So when I look at all of the ones on Delmonica Road, if you took the average of those, it's 233 per square foot. Yet when you bring in Shade Street and Beach Grove, it brings your average down to 208. Is there a difference in those different streets in terms of the type of houses or
Oh.
size of lot or?
They are actually the Bay Area. It's like
Oh, you can,
connected to the Delmonica Street. They're a bay, so
you can see from the map you give us, here is our street, Delmonica, and the first bay is showing is Beach Grove,
Okay.
and the close bay here, that's the shade tree.
yeah. So I consider their lot size is kind of similar to us, and we are very close, but we're not in the same street, but definitely closer, than the Bridgewater, than the Appleford or Willow Creek Road. So
It just seems that those houses or those properties bring down your average, so I was just wondering, like in terms of the neighborhood, is your street more desirable?
Yeah, I'm also curious about that, why their average price is such low. But based on they are in the bay, so they also got a huge lot, actually.
yeah.
From the assessment I download from the city of Winnipeg.
Yeah, so for that case, you can check page number, I think it's page number 8 to page number 11. We have all the details. I just take a copy of the Winnipeg City website.
These are the assessment numbers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not the values, that's the size of the lots, is what he was choosing. He was looking at the size of the lots.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that answer.
Okay, thank you.
I guess what I do with my pen now, it's here, I'll find it. Do you have questions yet, Jeff?
I haven't, but the sales
Go ahead.
book information was very helpful, thank you, so I have no questions.
Thank you, sir.
On your page 13, those houses, that's in the back of your house?
Page 13?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
That's true.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 there. Here it shows 1, 2. It only shows 3 lots backing onto your house.
Actually, only 3.
Yeah, you can see there's a color difference in the fence.
Yeah.
So actually, my
So that's not
yard.
your yard there?
No,
Oh.
they're not my yard.
So you need a fence up here.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
so
why
it's
I
not
mentioned there's no
completed.
fence completed
So,
yet. Yeah.
So it's actually not all of it. This isn't all their yard, guys.
No.
Their yard ends here.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Because there's no fence.
Yeah, because there's no fence, exactly.
Okay.
That's just, you should have put a line there. It was sort
Yeah,
of,
but
There
we
were
should have
a lot.
went, boy, you've got a beautiful big backyard. Looks like half an acre.
yeah, that's gonna cost me a fortune.
That's true.
So you've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 neighbors. That's not bad, as long as they're all friendly. And you're looking at 486,000, is that correct?
Yes.
Is what you'd like the number to be?
The average size is a reasonable price.
Yeah, based on average number.
Yeah.
And the sale actually went through on what date was it?
It's
September 18th.
Yeah, 2018, yeah.
After April 1st. Okay. Leave it with us, and you'll get your answer, and
Okay. Thank you very
after we've
much.
had our discussion. Thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much.
you,
I should just
Oh,
clarify,
one
I
second.
recalculated
Sure.
the average of the ones on Delmonica, and it was 211, so it wasn't as high as I stated originally at 233. It's just slightly higher than the average you calculated
Right,
at
yeah.
208.
Yes.
So
That's
sorry
exactly.
about that. City calculators.
We'll blame it on that.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you're all free to go.
Thanks
You
so
were
much.
free to go before, but I know you want to listen anyway. Might as well get your $50 for it.
Paid for parking already.
That's it. I can't believe people come to pay to come see us. Ken, there is an entertainment factor. We're gonna go back to the first one, Doug, it's 26 Green Lawn, if you wanna read it on to the record, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Work on the cruise, hopefully it doesn't get canceled.
Better not, let me tell you.
Excellent. Take care.
Here's a,
You have a good
Have a
one.
good day.
Bye.
thank you,
Thanks so much.
thank you. All the best. Here's a, thank you.
Green Lawn is the first one.
Have a good day.
I left the papers out, the papers for all these 15 ones, when you grab them.
You're just gonna read it on anyway.
Yeah.
That's what you got, yes? Okay.
Okay, roll number 12097804590, 26 Green Lawn Street. It was, came to an agreement with the owner and they would do the appeal with the 15 one.
Well, how come we didn't have a 15-1 on that one?
Didn't receive.
Hmm? We didn't get a 15-1 on it.
For
26 Green Lawn? We still got it docketed. That's why I
oh,
asked.
sorry, I thought it was a 15 one, or,
Sorry, 26 Green Line.
Okay. sorry. 26 Green
Try
Line,
again.
12097804590. There's a new development, I've got photos if you'd like to see them. There's a big park area, Grosvenor, Lanark, and Beaverbrook. It was a large vacant park, and a variety of new homes were built. And the vacant lot alone sold for $225,000. The house, I took a drive by this one. Very nice, little quiet neighborhood. Appear to be high quality homes in the neighborhood. So there was sales. I do, since it's new, I was unable to find sales comparisons right in that same complex or the development area. So I had to try and narrow it down. There's not a whole lot of infill properties. Comparables 1 and 2, they are infills. Similar square footage, but age-wise, they are a bit lower, but I was going to request to maintain the 740,000. There was no communications with the owner.
Questions, Jeff?
I have none, thank you.
Lori?
I have none either, thank you.
But you would have to say that 472 Centennial is your best comparable, right?
It would be, yes, the closer area other than the Green Lawn areas. It was a very, I think the attraction there is a quite little community, whereas Centennial, it's a busier area.
Yeah, it is.
Taking into consideration also the house is approximately 7 years older.
Okay, that's good. No other questions. The last one that you're gonna deal with is gonna be at 118 Rose Lake Crescent. Read it on the record, please.
Phone number 030929888070. Another new home in Bridgewater Trails, bungalow, 2,600 square feet. Walkout basement, basement development, variety of washrooms. This one is a in-ground pool was sold after the property was purchased. All the comparables, bungalows and Bridgewater Trails, except comparable number one is Bridgewater Lakes. It's quite a range of sale prices, 1.1 up to 1.25 million. All the properties do have walkout basements that have been developed. The subject property does have the retention pond, whereas same thing, the other properties do. So I tried to narrow it down. Again, that hydro telephone green boxes are up front. And as I mentioned before, I don't find that there's been no sales that are really affected by those boxes, the two boxes. It's, for the years it shows up that people are wanting to knock off 40,000 for the two boxes. Something we could take a look at, but at this point, there's not a negative influence applied. So we feel like the assessment of 1.376 million is a value I'm requesting that be maintained.
Thank you.
Questions, Jeff?
I have none, thank you.
I have none here, thank you.
Did you say retention fund? That's not a retention fund. Oh, the one over there, that's a retention.
Yeah.
This isn't a retention pond behind this one, is it? Isn't that a fountain or a
Yeah.
walk-through? I've never seen
Yeah,
one like
there's
this.
a walkway. It's a decorational water.
It's a water feature for everybody.
Yes.
Come walk around and sit there at night.
Yes, and the community entertainment. So.
A lot of poop.
Now, this is in Bridgewater itself. Do they have the steel fence behind this one then?
I can't confirm that, I was not there, but I believe in some of the other retentions of that or park area, they did have to have
The steel.
steel fence for safety issues, so, because the properties do not go right down to the water, it's city property, so for safety, a lot of the areas that have the steel fences.
Yeah, developer put the fences in, I do believe, correct?
Yes.
And they're not
Put some
allowed,
advertisement on it.
and they're not allowed to change them, it's in there.
Yeah, whatever the standards are, probably after 20 years, the property owner might have the opportunity, but generally it's, to give it the uniform look for the new developments.
Okay, you want to confirm?
Please.
Thank you. That concludes the matters for today. Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you.
Are you coming back for the last ones too, or?